we move forward to the next session. It's again a panel discussion, hospital perspective on technology adoption and challenges. Here too, we have two chairpersons and we have three speakers. Going forward to introducing our chairpersons, we have Dr. Naveen Chitkara, who is the Director and Consultant Neurosurgeon for NHS Hospital, Jalandhar, Punjab. He has been Director of Two Petals Innovations, former Technical Committee member for the NABH, a member of the Quality Council of India, winner of DL Shah Award 2014 and 15, and around 48 international and national publications, and 8 innovations accepted in various journals. Our next chairperson for this session is Dr. Colonel M. Dayananda, Director of JSS Hospital, Mysore. He comes with a wide experience in the field of hospital administration and has served in various hospitals of the country. He's an advisory committee member, Bureau of Indian Standards, New Delhi, which is presently developing quality standards for hospitals in India. He has edited a handbook on management of military hospitals. And his last assignment was in the capacity of medical superintendent of KMC Manipal Hospital and the chief operating officer of all teaching hospitals of Manipal University and Sikkim Manipal University. We have Mr. Rajiv Sikka, who is the group CIO of Medanta Hospitals. In the current role, Mr. Rajiv is responsible for group IT functions covering digital transformation initiatives and IT operations. He has formulated 5 years IT roadmap covering infra, application security, compliance, partner ecosystem and operations, successfully rolled out multiple standardized initiatives across hospitals in line with the One Medanta way of working. Mr. Rajiv also writes on health tech subjects in various forums and a regular panelist on digital initiatives in healthcare. So we have to move forward to this dynamic session. To hear more, I hand over to the chairpersons. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity, Kaho. So we will be moving forward to the hospital sector in particular. This is about absorption or the perspective of the hospital regarding the technology. So what we are looking at is that during this COVID pandemic and after that its effects are still felt, that everything has changed and technology has touched lives in different ways. It is not only in hospital, in all aspects of life. You can see people virtually connecting and meeting, and even the students are learning through Zoom mode, as well as in fact, in the medical colleges, we are conducting examination through the virtual way. So the hospital is not left unattended. So hospital is also part of the same system. So in the last, though the technology has been there and the hospitals have been there for quite long, the absorption of technology in hospital field was rather slow because of various constraints as well as legal aspects, as well as understanding by the healthcare people about the benefits of IT. So what has happened today is that the COVID has enhanced everything and speeded up everything. So we are forced to adopt technology at a faster pace. First came the telemedicine. It's almost become very routine in our this thing. Government of India came out with very relaxed rules regarding telehealth programs. Now we have it's become very, very common that we have teleconsultation, telemonitoring is going on. So all this is happening through hospitals also, through clinics and other areas also. So the absorption of technology is rather fast during this time. However, the core activities of the hospital, they still remain the same. It has not really made an impact in terms of what we expect in IT, taking away certain menial jobs and doing something. It is not happening in the hospitals, at least in the larger hospitals. So that is what we need to see, and probably the more light will be thrown by our very eminent speakers. I'm sure they will be able to do a good job of what they are doing in their hospitals or in the hospital fields in particular. Otherwise, in the hospitals, though the technology absorption is slow, it is happening now, and lot of benefit we are getting through companies are coming up, a lot of startups are coming up. Only a few days back, Kaho itself has organized a health innovation this thing, and there are about 15 selected hospitals which presented very unique things that can help the hospital run better, make it more accurate, make it more patient friendly. And that's what we saw only a few days back. So that is again, congratulations to Kaho. So now the hospitals that we are looking at, I'm looking at a larger hospital in particular, though technology is affecting everyone. So in larger hospital, lot more can be done, which we would like to hear from the CIOs. First, we'll start with Mr. Rajiv Sikka. Mr. Rajiv, you can start with, please.
I think you set the context very, very right, sir, that tech has changed the healthcare industry. We all are aware that, no industry is, got not impacted with the COVID, and healthcare was not also one of them. So I'll give you multiple examples and, how we have adopted tech in last 18 months. I'll start with the telemedicine, which you rightly pointed out that it is bound to stay, and with the help of government also, because of the regulations and other stuff, we found our volume got increased by 12% in 3 months of first wave in COVID. And right now, what we are doing is that we are doing 500 consults on telemedicine platform per day. Before that, we were predominantly known as a Northern Indian, kind of a hospital. But now we have 28 states, 7 union territories. So 1 state and 1 union territory left. Each, there are patients coming from, complete India. Apart from that, prior to COVID, we used to have only, used to have patients coming from only 25 countries. Now we are treating patients from 80 countries, and most of the post-discharge follow-ups are totally happening on telemedicine platform, except when you have to have, intervention in terms of a procedural stuff. So this is one such stuff. And I'll give you another example. We realize that patients are very, very friendly with WhatsApp chatting. We all do, even office work is happening on the WhatsApp. So we have a platform on which if you just say hi, and it will recognize you through your phone number, it will figure it out how many patients are registered on this phone number, and then what kind of services you want on this phone number. So within a minute, across 5 hospitals for Medanta, you can get a doctor consult of your own choice, and you can get the link for payment in case you want to prepay, so that you don't want your family members to stand in the queue. And on the same link, you'll get a video consult link. On the same link, you'll get a prescription. So that's what's the beauty of some of those very simple example. I'll give another example. During COVID, we realized that nurses were at short, and we don't want to have unnecessary exposures of nurses going to COVID ward and COVID bed multiple times. So what we did is that we put a bedside Alexa, video Alexa on the bedside, and we have a couple of them on the nursing unit. So as soon as patient doesn't have to ring the bell, so he has an option to ring the bell, but he said on the Alexa, please call the nurse. So nurse will appear on the nursing unit. He says that please give me a blanket. Now, just imagine that as soon as the nurse heard the blanket, Alexa itself is passing that request to housekeeping department. So nurse doesn't have to come all the way from nursing unit to bed, close the bell, and then go back and give the, this is a very simple example. So that get extended to F&B, that get extended to engineering department. So this is, again, tech is not very high, sir. Tech is not sexy. Sexy or is the application part of the tech. So these are simple examples. I'll give you another example. We realized that cardiac patients who need an ECG were not coming, and their neighborhood clinics or doctors were not there to get the ECG done. So we have a very small device, which is like an equivalent of pen drive. We started shipping back to the patient at their home, definitely at a cost, but this cost was far more lower than the ECG at the hospital. And this is a 6-lead FDA approved ECG device. Within 30 seconds of usage, ECG will reach to Medanta heart station, and there is a 24/7 team which is monitoring that heart station. And we used to report more than 200 ECG per day during peak of COVID when patients don't want to come to the hospital. So again, simple. And all of these applications were fully integrated with Medanta EMR application. I do remember when central government announced home isolation care, and within 48 hours, we were able to bring that application on Medanta portal, and patients were able to register it. And it's a very simple application. In 48 hours, you can't build a hi-fi application. Also, whosoever is a technologist in this panel will understand that it's not an ERP which will take ages. It was a very simple application. Patient got registered through a simple OTP and a payment link goes, and then patient has to monitor, enter his daily vitals as per the doctor specifications, and anything which is below or above a threshold, alert goes to a nurse, and if it is beyond second level, alert goes to a doctor, and then doctor or nurse used to come in touch with the patient, and if things can't be managed at home, we used to bring the patient through a typical ambulance to Medanta COVID ward. And that's how we realized that hundreds and hundreds of patients got treated at home. I'm talking of, in first wave, we treated more than 10,000 patients purely away from the hospitals in a home isolation. Never imagine that a hospital is treating patient away from the hospital. And that's what we realized, that with the help of tech, we can do this kind of a care also, which is a remote care. And this, according to me, is the foundation for not just Medanta or larger hospital, but also for smaller hospital to start visualizing that how care will be taken care, will be managed away from the hospital, away from the, of a tertiary care place. Because nowhere on this earth, in a country like India, with the kind of infrastructure we have, we can manage all the patients which are there in the country. So we have to have this kind of a model, and tech is going to be that equalizer, which will play an important role in bringing remote care which is one of the other dreams of the father of nations, that accessibility is a major issue. So these are a couple of examples which I rattled. I have more to share.
It was a wonderful mix of presentation. Before we take the platform to the discussion level, I would add a few points to that. See, my understanding of using technology in hospital is, whereas technology is something which reduces the human interface, it decreases the human errors, it improves efficiency and the results, and of course, increases the paper or the manual work, and it makes the life very easy for all, the staff members, the doctors, and the patients too. Now, when we are talking about technology in the hospital, I would rather classify the use of technology into different areas of the hospital. The first and the foremost group is where we are using technology for the use by the doctors in their clinical work, or technology helping in their clinical processes and making life easier for the patient, making it convenient, and making it easier for the home care processes and the procedure which are done using the technology. The second subset would be where technology is used in the hospital to improve the processes of the hospital. Third important part of use of technology is where the technology is used for analysis of these processes, and somehow it uses artificial intelligence, or the analysis is then interpreted by the higher up authorities to evaluate all the processes and improve the processes. So whenever we are talking about technology, we have to first see the use of technology in which subset which it is there. The second most important point is very high-tech technology they are using in their hospital. But the project or the process of adoption of technology by the hospitals would not be successful till the time the smaller and the medium scale hospitals and the hospitals in the tier 2, 3 cities, they start using these apps or these technologies for improving their processes, their functions, and for the benefit of the patient. Now, one hiccup which usually comes is that with multiple vendors available, different types of technologies available, if someone goes to a hospital to ask them or request them, asking them to use a particular technology, the person who is important in making the decision might not be aware of all the technological things which are available in the market and what all different platforms are available. Most of the small hospitals are still struggling with using even telemedicine portals. There are no actual ratings on any of the parameters which are at the moment available in the market, that if we can compare whether this product is an apple, and if apple is to be compared to the apples, then it has to be done like that. And if apple should not be compared to the oranges. Then what happens is that I opt for a technology, and within 2-3 months, another vendor comes with new features, and I am again at a loss what to do now, because there is very difficult interchangeability or transportability of the technology between the two vendors. I'm not really sure whether using the technology is going to improve the efficiency in my hospital or not. What is the user friendliness and adaptability of the technology which I'm opting for? Every hospital would want to customize the platform which suits it the most. And what would be the actual advantage of the use of technology in the hospital that the customers or the hospitals, they usually do not know when they are exposed to these technology vendors for the first time? They are worried about whether it will be a viable option or not, and what will be the return on investment. So based on these things, what we started with a project in our hospital is that we subdivided a particular platform in terms of usability, adaptability, and all these things into some 32 parameters. And we arbitrarily started to compare the different technology platforms on these. So there were two subsets. First was the technology was used for what purpose in the hospital, and to compare the apples to the apples and oranges to the oranges, how were these two technologies faring against each other? So these were 3 or 4 points which I wanted to suggest before we take it to discussion. Rajiv, I would take the first question to you, that since you are using such beautiful things like Alexa and telemedicine, all these things, how do you think, like leaders in the market, would you be able to help smaller hospitals adopt this technology?
So, sir, I think you said it right, that maybe the adoption degree varies from hospital to hospital, and bigger the hospital, because of the volume, because of the scale, and maybe investments, adoption is relatively bit higher. Coming back to your specific question, like I'll tell you that in mine association with Medanta is roughly 7 odd years. Prior to that, I have never been part of the healthcare industry. So in this case, my canvas was blank, and 7 years back, we were lagging very heavily with respect to technology. So what we did is that I personally brought in 6-7 odd startups to Medanta, and I can thumb the desk that and say that all of these startups are now big hi-fi companies, and they owe their first product to Medanta because we were able to launch it. And so one contribution definitely which we have done in last couple of years is that this product, when we were implementing, we told them that IP belongs to you, or definitely we will get certain subsidies, because we were instrumental in preparing the specification, rolling it out, validating the product. And after that, I think there is no end. And as a matter of fact, if there is Kaho could be one forum, or there could be any forum where we would be more than happy to whatever we have developed at our own to share, provided interoperability is not a concern, because our products are 100% compliant to the standards with respect to interoperability, including to the NDHM. We are working with them. So answer to your question would be definitive yes. We can do it. And as a matter of fact, if there is a forum and we collectively want to come out with a platform which can be used by the group of hospitals who are participating in it, any contribution, either technically, functionally, more than happy to be part of that. I'm taking this call on behalf of Medanta also.
Thank you, Rajiv. Rajiv, there's a question to you. How do you measure your success in adopting this technology?
These are all softer aspects. I'll give you an example. What gives me a kick or a sense of accomplishment. If you go to any ER, it's a kiosk, whether it's a 30-bed or a 100-bed triage. If you go to Medanta ER, not even one laptop or a desktop is there. Each and everybody is using a mobile EMR, and each and everything is on this. So whether it's a medication order, or it's a procedural orders, or it's a doctor visit, or whether it's a transfer from ER to IP, or a discharge from ER, everything is done on this. So this is one success. Second is that our 2 ICUs are 100% paperless. Our complete IPD, ICU paperless means not even medication charts, which are like big A3 charts are used on a paper. Complete orders are there with respect to each and everything, including daily progress notes on the EMR app. It's on the bedside. Complete IPD is 100% digitized, which means that anything from admission to assessment to discharge happens through only digital methods. So somehow, if you talk about adoption, this is one of the great success factor. Second thing is that not just on the clinical side, but also on the non-clinical side, especially on the service excellence side, we have implemented many solutions which are liked not just by patients but also by folks who are servicing the patient. WhatsApp is one such example. In 1 minute, straightforward, you can book an appointment. AI will give you alternative doctors, alternative slots in a very easy to use way. So some of these simple examples are there. As I said, that these are not very hi-fi tech. These are very simple techs. Unfortunately, getting labeled as high investments. These are not high investment technologies. That's my
Rajiv. How do you define the users or the user groups in your hospital? Like you have provided telephone, so all the users, they are using their mobile phones for using the software, and they of course they go home, they go out of the hospital. To stop data pilferage or to ensure that your sensitive data is not shared with anyone else, how do you define the user groups in the hospital?
So first of all, as far as mobile is concerned, it's a zero footprint application. What it means is that not even one single byte will be stored on the phone. It is always going to get pulled from the server and will be shown. Obviously, you can click the photograph, save it, but you can do it on the laptop also. You can click the photograph of the patient details, and that's a separate story. Second thing is that there is a hierarchically driven data access. So geofencing is there. So nurse or junior doctors can't see the patient record outside the boundary of Medanta, while senior doctors, which are consultants and above, can do that away from the hospital also. Similarly, for medication order or for procedure orders, access rights are there based on the various access rights which are decided by the head of the specialty or the chairperson of the specialty. Those are given. So each and every application, be it report portal, which is used by patient for downloading their reports, or telemedicine, is 100% HIPAA compliant, which means that it's not GDPR, but it's HIPAA compliant. So purely from regulatory and internal compliance perspective, these are as per the standards which are there anywhere in the world.
The problem that we had in our hospital a few years back was that most of these junior level people, they share their username and passwords. And with these mobile links, if they're sharing their username and password, of course, your data is not very safe outside the hospital.
I'll tell you that how it happens. So there are 3 layers of security. So this phone is attached to a user ID. So if somebody else is using a user ID on a different phone, he has to come to Medanta IT department, and that enablement will be done. So there are 3 layers. One is that phone and user ID are linked. Then there is a user ID which has to be entered along with the password. So these are like stuff. You can't use a third device to enter your own or third party user ID and password.
Yeah, that was a nice solution. Dr. Dayanand, you have something to say about that?
Yeah, this is, you are mentioning a very, very relevant point regarding this technology absorption will only be successful when all the hospitals of different tiers, different levels of hospitals are benefited. That's absolutely correct. So probably the first step could be to collaborate amongst larger hospitals. That itself has not happened. Once we collaborate, larger hospital with scale, with budgets, with money, things like that, if larger teaching hospital, multi-specialty hospitals collaborate, whatever is available technology and available apps today functioning, if that can be operationalized and made very successful, and there would always be a trickle-down effect to the mid-level, tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. So probably the Kaho can be taking this kind of an initiative where all these technological advancement of amongst the larger hospitals collaborate amongst themselves so that this can trickle down and maybe at a very less cost to this thing that can be passed on to the next level of size of hospitals. This was one of my suggestions.
Thanks, Dr. Dan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shikara, and all the Colonel Dayananda, as well as all the wonderful speakers